So hi everybody and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 65 and in this video we are coding the widget blueprint AI LifeBar which we created in our last video, and let's get started. So what we have to do is first we go to our, let's see, this is my AI, and here I do actually nothing. I will do something here in coding section, but we are going first to our widget, and in widget we want to create this binding. Let's go to let's select our widget. Let's go here on the right side to progress bar. Let's select create binding, and then you see something like this. It pops up this function, and we are now in the function mode here, and let's rename this function to a name which we remember a little bit better. Get life, current life. Let's call it get current life, because this one will be set our current life here. We can see it here, return value, but we have set this up. We have not set this up, and where we get it. There are different kinds to get it and make it. For example, in game mode, or in our case, I make it now for demonstration purposes in our AI event graph. So we jump to our AI in the event graph, and here I want to do something. And similar to our player character, I jump to the capsule component. I go again to the viewport. The capsule component is just a collision component, which means we have events, for example, hit events or overlap events. And for this demonstration, I use the overlap event. So I click again this capsule component here on the right side. I scroll down and you see here the events, and the event means, like all time, it will be automatically activated if something happens. In our case, if something overlaps. So I choose this component begin overlap, and you see this node will be activated if it's overlap with something. Actually, you have to specify with what. In my case, it should overlap with my player character, and then the AI should get damaged. So I write the player character. No, I don't write player character. I write my name of the player character, which is infinity, and then you see something like a cast, because this one will cast it to the BP infinity. And all time if you hear cast, it means make a connection, a reference to this character. So this node will start it, this capsule component will trigger this code when it's overlapping with the player character. So what should happen is it should decrease my life, because we need here a life. So first of all, we have to create a life variable. Let's go to the variable sections here on the left. Let's click the plus sign. Let's click here current life, and let's set this one to a float. It is already set, good. And then let's compile and go to the right side, still selected the current life, and we can see the current life is set here. You can set it careful. You have to set this one to 1, not like a life value like 100 or 1000. 1. Why this? Because this one is representing here a life bar. Later you can change this also and convert it to a 1, but right now I make this a demonstration for this one, because this life bar works with percentage, right? So the percentage 1 means 100%, and if you go lower, it means less percentage. So that's why I use here at start 1. Of course, you can use also 1000 and then convert this 1000 to 1. 100% is 1, and then convert this a little bit with calculations as well. But right now, let's use this 1. It's easier and faster. And with that said, I have the current life, but I want something with that, right? Because this current life will get this, and all time when this overlaps with my character, it should decrease, right? So before we make this decrease, let's make this get, because we want here at this point, we would just want get the life. So this widget blueprint is just asking us to get it. And how we are getting this live is from this one, like old time, with a cast. And why we need a cast? Because we need a connection to this one to get here this variable, to access to this variable. And let's make it so. Let's write here cast and then to this BP enemy AI, because I want make here a connection, a reference, BP enemy AI1 in my case. And we have again this problem with the objects, because this is all time our problem. I mean a problem in the sense of that we find an object for the cast. In our case, we have to use get all actors of class, but there are different ways too, but this is one of the best way, I think. Get all actors of class, but careful with this node. Don't use this, for example, in a tick event or in any event which is updated every frame or every second, something like that, because that would cause performance problems or even crashes. But stuff like that, just call it one time, there is no problem, that's fast enough. And then you select with this node here the class which you want. In my case, enemy AI. This is this BP enemy AI. And then after you get all actors of class, you can get here this get a copy sign, and then you can make this one. And now you have connected this one. And here it says all time this node, it is already one, but I'm not sure. I had a problem if I using this one, so I still use this cast node here. And with this cast, we have now access to this AI, and which means to this public variables most time. And I have now access to this variable here. Let's see how I can access it. Here I am in my cast, and what I have to do is just drag out from this node, because now I'm referencing to this one. I can say current live, and you see we have here a get current live, and this get current live is actually a getter, but we know it is just getting the current live, and we connect this one. So the first step we did, and the first step made just get this live, which is all time 1, which is all time 100% in our case. And this one here has no function. So here we have to add a functionality to this 100 live. The functionality should be that all time when I overlap it with my character, this live should be decreased, because right now I can start it and see that's perfectly. I hope it works. Let's see. Yes, it is working, but this was similar to that what was before, right? It is not decreasing, only my life is decreasing. So let's get it. And how we are going to decrease this? Very simple. We get the current life and say all time when you are overlapping, decrease this life, and we make it just with a subtract node. It is called also a minus node, and then you can set the amount how much it should decrease. I set it to, let's say, 0.3, and 3 is 30% because all time from 1 minus yeah. And then we have just to set this value again. So you drag out here, and this time not get it, you set it. And then if you connect this one here, now you have set the new live, and you connect this one here, which means all time if my character is overlapping, I will decrease. That's all time the same thing. The problem here is this works already fine. The problem only is here. If this one is overlapping accidentally, for example, can happen more than one time, so a one time another after another time in a very short period of time, this can decrease your life instantly to 0, and you don't want that. And one workaround I did in last in my character, for example, is you can make here a delay and then set or use a use not a delay. You use a do once node and then make a delay. So the do once node you can drag out from here and write here do once. And the do once node, like it says, I will do it only one time what comes after this line, after this node. So for example, all that what here comes, it will work only one time. But actually we don't want that, right? We want it that it that it overlaps with our character and then decrease after. Then we want it later that it decrease again when we overlap, only not so fast. And then you can use different ways, and for this purpose I just use a delay node. You write a delay and then you say around 2 seconds you can overlap again. And important is this do once let you only still do it once time. So what you have to do is this do once node has here a reset. The reset means after you resetted me, I can allow you again to enter this code here later. But after I used it once, you have to reset me. So let's reset this one, very easy. We connect this from after this delay to this reset. We see nothing now. Let's make it a little bit stylish here on top. So it's on top, and let's, oops, when I can move it a little bit. And let's do one more thing. So if you have problems like me to make this equal, you can select both, press Q on your keyboard, and you see they are now a little bit aligned, and now you can make it easier. So that said, we are almost finished. That will work, but we have here one more condition, and the condition is what happens if my life is 0 or below 0. Then we want that the AI dies, right? Or is killed or whatever. Is destroyed in our case. But I don't make here a destroy animation that you can do. Instead, I make it simple and write here destroy actor. You probably know this node. And this destroy actor will all time destroy the actor after is 0. But here is a mistake, right? We should use destroy actor after it is 0, and how we make this with a branch. The branch is all time a check node. It checks if a condition is or has happened, and in this case it will check current life. Are you below 0? So how we check this, we get the current life and say here less or equal node. This is also a comparison node, and it should compare, for example, to 0. And if this is the case, please check this one branch, and the branch say, okay, I will check this, and if this check is successful, let's put it here a little bit. So if this check is successful, which means indeed your life is below 0, then I will destroy the actor. But if your check is not successful, which means you still have life, I will not destroy the actor, and this reset for the do once node we have just to do with this false here, because you can be resetted again and decrease your life. And that's it actually. So let's see the code here a little bit more in whole, and let's make this one a little bit smaller. So that's it actually. So we can see here, this is not a perfect solution. This is only a fast demonstration solution. Of course, later you should change this one with not an overlap event, with an attack event, and later you should choose change also this do once node. Perhaps also not really use a do once node, more a connection to this attack sequence, and then activate this decreased life. But for the start it's okay, and we can test it out and see what happens. So we are starting our game here. This is the other AI. Here spawns another AI, and now he's trying to attack me. Let's see, I have overlapped with him, he lost life. I overlapped with him, he lost again a life. Actually, this overlap should all be later an attack. it's not correct here, but I will perhaps implement it in the next one. And I overlap one more here, still live, which means I need one more overlap, and he disappeared, but he made still this animation and then disappeared. So there's still one more fix. So after that, he can't play this animation, but this is just fixing a little bit code. So I stop here the video, and I probably will change this setup to trigger with attack skill instead of overlap. For example, like I said, this one should be, yes, should react on my attack and should not react on my capsule overlap. And this one we set probably in the next video up. This was just the beginning, and with that said, I stop this video here. And if you have any questions, ask in the comments. If not, then we see us in the next video. Bye.